Hello, everyone. It's Tony at Shining Hawk Healing. Thank you so much for being here today. I have a special guest, Kirsten Langston. She is an incredible psychic medium, and she has her own channel, which is Third Eye Champagne. She has a website. She has a Patreon channel. Let's get to it. I started watching you, I think it was in 2016, 2015 or something, right before, like when Trump was running and everything. And I found you and you were doing these readings in front of a blue wall.
Yep, my blue wall. Oh, so you're like old school.
Yes. I love the blue wall though. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, it makes her look so beautiful. I love this blue wall. I have to have a blue wall.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I just want to let everybody know I didn't have Bell's palsy. I had a little bit of dental work and I thought the numbness would wear off by now, but it hasn't. So I'm sort of kind of talking like Drew Barrymore on like one side of my mouth. So.
Well, you know, if you start drooling, just wipe it away.
I know I had this done at like 10 a.m. and I'm over here. I'm like, oh God, I still can't feel my face. So it is what it is, but I'm here.
That's okay. You've been going through it lately, huh?
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot with the appendix thing. And, you know, the funny thing with that is I honestly really thought it was indigestion. I mean, I took some Tums and I went to bed.
Wow.
Like I slept through my appendix.
Oh
like I slept through
gosh.
appendicitis and then I slept through my appendix actually rupturing.
Now, you must have like the constitution of like the ages, because I know that you donated a kidney a few years back.
Yeah, I
And
donated a kidney in 2006.
And then your appendix burst and you didn't even know it.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew something was wrong. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'll just go about my business. But I was like, oh, yeah, this is really bad food poisoning, man. Like, my brother and I both gotten food poisoning, and mine happened to turn into appendicitis. And I just thought, man, this is good. I'm calling him on the phone. I'm like, hey, is that food poisoning, like, really kicking your ass? And he's like, no, I'm over it. And I was like, man, well, it's really got me.
Right.
Come to find out, right, it was not food poisoning. But yeah, it was an ordeal.
When Linda said, oh my gosh, she's really sick, I was like, oh God.
You know, it's so funny, Linda. She I think I must have texted her, but I don't remember texting her, but I must have. And she said, You're really sick, girlfriend. And I said, yeah, apparently so. And then she said, after I was out of the woods, she said, you know, I put the cards down when you texted me and I got the death card. And she said, I thought you were going to die. You know, and I went, oh, well, it couldn't have been that bad. And then I get my hospital notes because they didn't tell me anything in the hospital. I get the hospital notes, and right there in the notes, it's like, you know, sepsis. I was in the ICU and all this stuff. And I'm going, oh, so I really was like on my deathbed. I mean, it's right there in the hospital notes. And you know, but they don't tell you that when you're in there, I guess.
It's not something you want to say to somebody who's fighting for their life.
But I feel like this is a lesson, just I can give this to the world, which is if you're in the hospital and, you know, maybe things are a little dicey, just ask them if you want to know, because they're not going to tell you otherwise. You need to, if you ask, they will say, yeah, you're in a little bit of trouble here. Like you could be, you know, fighting for your life. If you don't ask, they're not going to say shit. They won't say a word. And the other thing I've learned that you must also ask, should it be appropriate, is, do I have sepsis? Yeah. Because I was also not told that either.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just like, we don't really know what's going on, and you know, da 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 da, and we think it's your appendix, but it could be cancer. And I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with these people? You know, that's my favorite. It could be either it's appendicitis, super common, or it could be cancer.
Which would you rather have?
Right. Just like the leap. Like, I feel like you guys made a big leap from, well, it could just be appendicitis, or you could be riddled with tumors. Like, Yeah, I feel like, so that's the lesson for everyone out there, just so everybody knows. If you're in the hospital, ask if you're dying, okay? Because it's like, don't ask, don't tell. It's like that. It's like, that's how it works in there.
Because they're not going to tell you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That must have been so scary for you.
It wasn't, actually.
It wasn't?
No, I knew I was fine. Everybody else was, my mom was worried, my aunt was worried. They came to visit me every single day, and I really think that if they had just left me in there and like didn't come, they came and they would stay all day long. And if they hadn't done that, I don't think I would have gotten better as quickly as I did. By the third day, I'm going, can I go home? And they're like, no, the doctors are going, no, you can't go home. Like, you're sick. And I'm like, well, I know, but like, can I get some better food in here? I actually sent my dinner back one time because it just wasn't to my satisfaction. I was like, any other stuff. So I honestly, all I wanted was just like decent food and, to be comfortable. Like that, I never felt in any way, shape, or form that I was dying or even close to death. But now in hindsight, I look back and I go, that sense of well-being you have was probably because you were so close to death. Because I just had such a sense of well-being. I was like, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. And I wasn't doped up. They didn't have me on anything that would kind of give me that. I mean, I took like a third of a Xanax at night.
Wow.
I didn't want to take sleeping pills or Norco. Like the Xanax usually just works better for me. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I wasn't on anything. But the whole time I'm in there, I'm going, no, this is fine. Like everything is fine. So I really had a complete sense of well-being. And then one night they had moved me. So they moved me out of the ICU. And there was a whole thing with my heart, which I don't even know if I talked about, but I had, they thought I was going to have a heart attack. And so they couldn't understand why the heart was doing what it was doing, which to me, again, I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but, I looked everything up when I looked at the hospital notes. I went back, I'm Googling everything. And the heart thing is common with sepsis. Your heart gets really wonky. Mm-hmm. But at the time they're going, we don't know, you're going to have a heart attack. We don't know what's happening. Tumors. Like it was just like, but about my third night, they moved me out of the ICU and I was laying in this bed and I felt all of a sudden, it was like, I went totally stiff. And I just felt all this stuff coming out. It wasn't like I was trying to do it, but I was feeling it coming out and then I was feeling it lift off of my heart, my throat, my third eye, all of the upper chakras, which is funny because the appendix is all lower. Right. But for me, whatever, everything was just, and I mean, it must have lasted probably 25 minutes and it was heavy and you could just feel the stuff just coming out. And I knew after that, I went, oh, okay, I'll be fine. Like I'll be out of here in no time. And it took another 5 days for me. But after that night, I remember going like, can I go home now? Can I go home now? And they're going, no. And then finally one morning I asked them, can I go home now? And they said yes. And I was like, well, hot damn. Okay. We're out.
So they sent you home with the whole like bucket of drugs, right? They
actually did. They sent me home with 4 antibiotics.
Wow.
I had to fight to get more Xanax. Well, this is so funny. They said, well, Xanax is addicting. Because I asked the guy, I said, can I get some more Xanax? Can I get some Xanax to take home? It's helping me sleep. It's like, I don't want to, no, it's habit forming. I'm going to give you 50 Norcos.
What is Norco?
It's Oxy.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so the Xanax is habit forming and has 0 side effects and, doesn't mess with my, it keeps my anxiety low. You don't want to give me that. What you want to give me is OxyContin, which is habit forming, which gives you constipation, which has all these crazy side effects to it, which actually can cause anxiety. Okay. So yeah, they sent me home. I had to fight. He gave me 4 Xanax. That's it. 50 Norcos, which I haven't touched. I don't like taking drugs. And 4 friggin' Xanax. And I was like, oh, buddy, okay.
Well, they're like, take one a day. That's all you get, or break it in half.
Yeah. And it wasn't like it was super strong. It was like the lowest possible level that you could get, but that makes me I think about women in the hospital, and this is what they do to us.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they do to us, and
they don't listen.
They don't
listen to us. That's the thing. Yeah.
No, was it, well, I know Serena Williams, when she was having her kid, it was like, she kept telling him something was wrong, and they're like, no, you're fine. And I think it was life-threatening.
It was.
What was wrong with her?
It happens so often that you would think that they would know when a woman says something's wrong. She knows something's wrong. All you have to do is listen, right? And then do the appropriate checkups to see what's going on, but they don't, because it's all like by rote. It's all like, everybody's a robot. They do exactly what they were supposed to do, and that's it.
Yeah, that's legit. That was, I didn't like being in the hospital. I'm too independent for it.
Yeah, I hate hospitals. They suck.
They don't have good vibes.
They don't. They suck your vibes right out.
They do. It's supposed to be like this place of healing, and then it's like, the minute I get in there too, they're like, oh, here's this little machine. You have to do this every day so you don't get pneumonia. And I'm like, why would I get pneumonia? And they're like, oh, it's just here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just in the hospital. That's, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, what do you mean? Like,
that's why I don't like hospitals, because that's where people go to get sick, because that's where the sickness is.
Yeah, that's real deal. That is the real deal.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been, but I will say my psychic abilities have definitely increased since.
What do you think all of that release was?
I think it was, how do I want to put this? I think it was the energy of dis-ease. I think it was the energy of illness. I think it was whatever was making me sick. Do you know what I mean? The energy of it. I think it was just like, we're pulling it out of you.
So did you feel any entities in the room while this was going on? Nope. Any angels or any guides or anything? Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
I had just finished watching White Lotus. Okay, this is like the scene. I've got a drain in my butt already, so my butt hurts. I'm in this damn hospital bed. I'm watching White Lotus on my iPad. I had my half a Xanax. The lady came in to do the blood pressure and do all the things and all of that. So it's all, I'm settled. I'm hunkered down for the night. Turn off my iPad, and I'm laying there, and I brought up an eye mask. So you can imagine, right? I'm in there, I'm wearing my little eye mask. I have tarot cards next to my bed, sage. These people probably thought I was nuts. I can't tell you how many times some doctor, nurse, whatever would walk in, and I'd be, meditating, and I'd open my eyes and I would be like, I'm sorry, I'm meditating. It was like
you're like diva on floor 5, diva.
Right, exactly. You probably thought I was nuts, but and so it was nothing special. I wasn't praying. I wasn't doing any energy work. I was just laying there, and all of a sudden it was just like, oh, and I felt all this shit came out. And then the next night it happened again, but it wasn't as much. Sorry, puppy. But it wasn't as much. It was a little bit more, but it wasn't as much. But now what's really interesting, and I don't know if this is related, I've had an uptick in poltergeist activity.
Oh.
It's very strange. So not since I got home. I got home and everything was pretty normal. So I couldn't be by myself when I got home. So my nephew stayed with me, and then my brother stayed with me. And then after that, I could kind of be alone. And my mom would then come over every morning and stuff. But nothing really strange happened. Nothing really bizarre happened. And then 2 things, when I was reading, I got very into cults. This is my recovery.
Okay.
I got very into cults. So I read everything I could on Charles Manson. I can't wait to do a drunk tarot on Charles Manson. I'm really excited about it. He's a very strange guy. And I actually wonder about his manifesting abilities after reading these books. I'm very interested. But one of the dog's toys moved on its own as I'm reading this Helter Skelter Charles Manson book. And oh my God, it scared the shit out of me. And then the next day, I have a baby gate in the hallway for the dog so he doesn't, roam free. And the gate opened so hard, it hit the wall by itself. Dog was sitting with me. Both times the dog was with me. So it wasn't like he had touched it. So oh God, Charles Manson's in the house. But then nothing happened for weeks upon weeks upon weeks, nothing happened. And then in the last week, this is so bizarre. So, and this is real poltergeist stuff. The first thing that happened was this computer, the battery drained and it wasn't charging. I thought, oh shit, the computer's broken again. And so it went down to 1%. I thought, well, I'll just plug it into the wall and see if it's going to charge. And a couple days later, I went and checked. It's still at 1%. I thought, oh God, I really need this battery. I got to take it into the Apple store. How is the guy going to check it if he can't even turn it on? What am I going to do here? And when I got to the Apple store, I'm apologizing to the guy. It's 2 days later. I have unplugged the thing. It hasn't been plugged into the wall for 2 days. Last time I looked at it, it's at 1%. I get to the Apple store. I'm talking to the guy, and I said, I'm so sorry. I don't know if you're going to turn it on. The battery's at 99%. So now he thinks I'm nuts. And then the second thing, I'm in my hallway. I had just come in from the garage, and I have a light switch panel right next to the door. And when I shut the door, I kind of turned my head and I'm looking at the light switch, and I watched the switch, not the light, but the switch go from off to on. I watched it slowly turn on. Right, that's not the worst one though. So last week, this is real. There's no explanation for this. Last week, I had to go to the store, and I know I shut my car off. I know the car was turned off, okay? I go to the store, I click the car lock button in the parking lot. I remember very distinctly clicking it because I listened for the beep. And it's not the kind of car you can turn on yourself. It doesn't turn on by itself. Go to the store. I'm in there 10 minutes. I come out, open the car door. My radio is on. My car is not on, but my radio is on. Now, in my car, once you open the door and the car is turned off, the radio will automatically shut off. Okay. So it's not like I left the radio playing. No, the radio was off. The car was off. I get in the car. The radio is on. And I'm just like, what the hell? The car was locked. Nobody could have gotten into it. Not only that, but the radio is playing Bone Thugs and Harmony, See You at the Crossroads.
Whoa.
And it took me a minute to register. I was like so freaked out the radio was just even on that I was like, what the hell? And so I get in the car and I'm going, this is really weird, Kirsten. And I thought it was me. I thought, what did you do? Did you leave your car on? I'm checking everything. Could I possibly, is this me? Did somebody get in my car and try to steal it? No, it was definitely locked and all this stuff. And then it dawns on me what's playing on the radio, and it's, the Crossroads. And I was just like, oh shit. So I don't know what's going on with this poltergeist stuff. I don't know who is haunting me. I actually just got off the phone with Linda Grindle. And I said, I don't know what's going on in here, Linda, but, do you get a sense that it's anybody I know? She says, girlfriend, I'm not sensing anything. Huh. So, yeah, isn't that wild?
That is really... Do you think that you picked them up at the hospital?
Well, I had a clearing. I went to my witch doctor guy. I had a full clearing. I did a full clearing. I've saged the house. I did sound healing in the house. And this is before any of this stuff happened. Mm-hmm. After the Charles Manson thing, I was like, I better sage. After that, I was like, just thinking, Charlie, you don't get to come in. We're going to do that on camera. Like, you don't need to hang out until I get to do that. You know what I mean?
I know. It's like, Charlie says.
Right, yeah. Charlie's like, Kirsten, let's, you're reading all my books. Why don't we hang out? I'm like, no, bro, sorry, later. But yeah, so I have been cleared multiple times. I have Reiki twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week since I got out of the hospital. So I don't know what it is. And I'm trying to, I try to sense it, and I'm just going, no, I can't sense anything. So then part of me is going, is it me? Is it my psychic stuff? Am I making things happen and I don't know it? I don't know. It's very
maybe
strange.
It's something, maybe it's a new ability that's coming online that's maybe, mimicking that kind of thing. It's okay. Lulu's like, what?
Oh, dogs are barking. I wake up and this dog is like cheek to cheek with me in the bed. I'm like, how did you even get in the bed? Like,
and he's so adorable. Oh my gosh.
Right prior to me getting on this, he ate my rug. He opened up my sofa, started eating the foam out of it, and then he went and ate my other rug.
Oh, no.
And the whole reasoning behind it is that I was busy on the phone talking to Linda, and he just didn't like it. He wanted the attention on him.
I had a ring, a little ring, not a ring, a big ring actually. It said "Love is all," and I don't know. I set it down on the table, and then it was gone. And Goose ate it. He eats everything like a little goat. When at some point in your career on YouTube, things got a little dicey with the algorithms and stuff like that. And then we lost you for a little while because you went to Patreon. And
well, the Patreon kept me really busy. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's where I'm making the majority of the money. Then that's where I'm going to put the majority of the time and energy. But the other thing too, with YouTube, it was just like, I wasn't getting anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Right. I mean, it's such a fickle, weird algorithm, and then they're like changing it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, at one point somebody said, no, you've definitely been shadow banned. It was just really not
stressful. And then you started your own your website, which is beautiful, by the way. It's gorgeous. And you started that, and then I thought you said something about it sort of like being like your own channel kind of thing.
So I started the website, and it's really comprehensive. It's like you can get shows, you can get blogs, and then I have places where you can look up spells, you can look up numerology, omens, astrology. Like there's just so much to do over there. Yeah. And I really want to add to it. I think with the website, that's Saturn Square kicked my ass. I mean, the last few years with Saturn and Aquarius just kicked my ass. I mean, it was, website swindle, divorce, near-death experience. God. Like it was just all of that in that time period. And so with the website, I was so busy managing that woman that designed it. And she did. It's very beautiful. And then she just dropped the ball. And it was just like she didn't fix any of the technical stuff.
Oh, no.
I mean, so, it was just trying to wrangle her. And then I'd get a hold of her, but then she wouldn't fix stuff, or it would break again. So then I'd have to try to get a hold of her again. And eventually she just started ghosting me, So I think I put so much effort into wrangling her that I wasn't able to put effort into the creative side.
Yeah.
And now that everything is fixed, I found somebody else to run my website and somebody else to fix it, which is great. I can really refocus on the content I'm putting out. I am like super pumped on the content. And I am going to be putting a lot more stuff up on YouTube. I have all this stuff I want to do, and like the energy is still kind of limited. So yeah, I've been doing an exploration on angels, demons, possessions, and vampires. Vampires is coming out in April or May, I think. But all this stuff, I mean, the stuff about vampires is fascinating.
Well,
it's absolutely fascinating because, people really believed that these bodies were coming back from the dead. They would exhume their loved ones and, drive a stake through their heart. I mean, they really did it. They really did it. America had its own vampire scare where they were like, the vampires are everywhere. Let's dig everybody up. Really? Yeah. And it was mostly from tuberculosis deaths. And so when they would exhume these people, though, the clue that you were a vampire would be that your cheeks would be rosy and your hair and nails would still be growing, which we know that your hair and nails grow after you die. But they didn't back then, so they were like, Jesus Christ, it's a vampire. And then, because of the way the blood coagulates in the body and stuff, when they would stake them, all this blood would come out, and they go, see, they've been drinking blood, like this. I mean, the vampire stuff, I am like really, like I said, the content, and it's nice to be able to lay around and just kind of do this kind of different content. The demon stuff, also fascinating. I've been really getting into like the history of demons, the history of angels. And did you know, I did not know this, angels originally did not have wings. I did not know this.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they were only given wings, I think in the 4th century.
When the bell rings.
Yeah, right. They started, they started getting, in pictures, they would just randomly start painting the angels with wings, maybe so you could distinguish them from regular people. I don't know.
Right.
But that's how we ended up thinking that they had wings.
So they do or they don't have
They
wings?
don't. They don't.
don't.
According to the Bible, where angels are mentioned 267 times. I know. I've been doing my research, girl. I've been doing
very specific.
According to the Bible, angels do not have wings. They look like regular people. And the Bible actually warns you to be nice to everybody because you never know, somebody could be an angel.
Right.
Yeah, really interesting. So I've been diving into some pretty cool stuff, which is like, we were talking before we jumped on here saying, let's kind of don't talk way too much about politics because after a while, it's kind of like, it's a slog.
It sort of regurgitates. To me, it doesn't matter because the world is sort of in flux right now, right? Yeah. So the politics of it all is in the background as far as Earth changes are concerned.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
That's what's most important now. We have to make sure that we are prepared for stuff that's going on. I don't know how hard you got hit by the rain and the wind and everything.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the house felt like it was going to blow away. I was like, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's been a lot. The weather has been really interesting. The dog doesn't even notice it. That dog goes out in pouring rain, hail. He's out there in the hail. He's like, this is fine. I'm going, Jesus.
What? Because my dogs will not go out in the rain.
No, this one, he will come in the house soaking wet, and then he'll look at me like, bitch, go get my towel. Like, he will give me this look, like, you know what time it is. Oh, yeah. Seriously, like, he is a character, this dog. But, yeah, he loves it. He loves the weather. The wind, when it's so windy, it's windy where it's scary.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You know that kind of wind where you're just like you said, the house might blow away. Like, will a tree come down? And this dumb animal is just outside, like his ears are like flapping backwards. You know what I mean? And he's like, this is fine. He's trotting around the yard. I'm just like, Jesus God.
I gotta tell you, you look great. You look great. I know you may not feel like you do.
I don't.
But compared to the way when you first got out of the hospital, your cheeks are rosy. You have, your skin is back to the normal. Because I was like, oh my gosh, this took so much out of her.
I didn't realize it until the last week, and I caught my reflection, and I went, oh my God. Like, it was like, I was so used to seeing myself so pale and just so, I don't even have a word for it, deathly, I guess. And so just a couple of days ago, I just kind of looked and I went, oh, look, it's you. Like, there you are. And then I realized how bad I actually looked, and I was going, oh, shit. Well,
you don't have to worry about dieting because you lost so much weight.
Oh my God, can I just tell you the food I've been eating that I've been able to eat anything I want. I usually am pretty good with it, but this is ridiculous. Like, I'm having pancakes.
Yay!
Pancakes. I've been making muffins every morning. Like,
yay.
Oh yeah, like all the carbs. I bought myself a baguette. I just sit there and eat the baguette, Like, they're telling me I still haven't gained enough weight. So I'm like, okay, all right, let's do it. I'm not eating like a ton of sugar, but it's like all the carbs I can get. Oh, hash browns.
Oh,
Like French fries, but I'm baking them, so I'm not eating fried food. But like
right.
noodles, oh pasta, oh my god, like the cream sauce, like oh my god, the food I've been
Do you
eating.
like the Alfredo sauce? Is that
I
one
like
of
the
your?
Alfredo, yeah.
Oh gosh, that used to be my favorite.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love I mean, just anything. I'm like, I just, you know what? I'm going to make some whipped cream and just eat it. Like it's been, I will say the one thing about this whole thing, I mean, I honestly, I'm really glad it happened because prior to this, I was just working myself to the bone.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? And it was just kind of like, the one thing I've noticed is the food, which is so because I'm like, okay, so basically I would work and work and work and work and work and then take a little break and eat a salad and then work, take a little break and just throw something together. And now I have time where I'm just like cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking. And it's just,
It's good.
oh my
It
God.
forced you to slow down. It forced you to
Yeah.
take care of yourself.
Yeah, it really forced me to slow down. And then that's the other thing too. I have so much energy. I usually have 5 times the energy of a regular person. So it takes a lot to make me slow down just because it's not my normal,
Yeah.
the normal way that I do things. So, and I can feel it like this week I went, oh, I'm kind of coming back online. So today I did 3 whole things. I went to the dentist, I talked on the phone, and I'm talking to you. Like that's big for me. That's huge right now.
So you were talking about demons.
Funny. So Lucifer, Satan, and Beelzebub got, they're actually 3 separate people.
I thought they were all the same.
Well, they got pushed together, kind of mushed together, and that's not in the Bible. They actually got mushed together by later Christian theologians. There's so much stuff that Christians are like, this is a thing, but it's not in the Bible. It's really crazy to me. Like that's one of the big things I've been discovering is it will be accepted in the Christian faith, specifically the Christian faith, but it has no biblical origins. It's just like somebody said it once, in 1373, and we've just believed it ever since, kind of a thing. So they were 3 separate ones, and then nowhere is it listed at all that the devil was an angel.
Really?
Nope.
No fallen angels, huh?
No, it says that he had followers.
Oh.
And that they were banished. And that's the funny thing is that in the Bible, it says they were banished so that they couldn't cause any trouble.
That's good.
So cute. Yeah, the devil and whoever followed the devil, they were banished so they couldn't cause any trouble. And God was like, I'm going to deal with you later. You just go sit on the shelf. So it was actually later.
Go sit in the corner and you will stay there till I get to you.
They took the time out.
Yeah.
And it was later that it was like, oh, the devil's causing all these problems and and then with the possessions in the Bible too, Jesus drives out a bunch of demons. There's I can't remember the exact number, but I want to say it's like 69 exorcisms in the Bible or something, and Jesus does them all. And every single time it's like this person's acting a little off. And it's self-harm. It's the funniest things. It's self-harm. It's clearly schizophrenic behavior, and they're calling it the unclean spirit. I think Jesus was healing the mentally ill. I don't think he was driving out demons. I really don't.
Oh.
I really, because just some of the stuff I've been reading, it's kind of like, oh yeah, like they had to chain this guy up because he wouldn't stop screaming at people.
Yeah.
They're like, yep, there's a demon in there, So it's just really interesting.
I mean, that falls into line with, putting the witches in the water and putting a brick on them to see if they sink.
Exactly. I feel like it's kind of the same deal, where it's like they had no understanding or concept of mental illness. So they're like demon, 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 and demon. Not you, you're a witch.
And wait a minute, we'll get to you later. The witches will get
right. Yeah, it's some wild stuff. It's very interesting stuff.
Wow. So when we pray for angels, what does that do for you? What do you feel like that does for us? as a...
I find the angel stuff really interesting. So only 2 archangels are mentioned in the Bible. Here I go. So I'm just giving you all the facts.
Yay!
But only Michael and Gabriel are mentioned in the Bible. And that's in the Hebrew Bible. And then in the stuff in the Bible, they're like, oh yeah, they wrote this, but we're not going to put it in. It's apocrypha. We're not going to put it in the Bible. There's 2 other that it's Raphael, and then somebody that starts with an S, or maybe it's Uriel. Anyway,
Uriel.
The angel stuff, for me, it always comes through as a frequency, just like anything demonic kind of comes through as a frequency. So it's not coming through as something personified. And I think that when people are praying and they're asking for angelic help, they're trying to tune into this certain frequency.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it's come through for me as an intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to go just intellectually without, being intuitive, I would say our angels are just like the Greek gods. We had a myth, we made shit up. Here you go. Have an angel, have a demon, have Aphrodite, have Hermes, have Mercury, have Mars. You know what I mean? So for me, I think that it is a frequency that people are really trying to tune into and get in there. And I think it's the same deal, if people are the demon stuff can be interesting though, because you have your major angels, you have your major demons. And beyond that, you have these sort of lesser demonic entities. People are always talking about their demonic entities. You ever watch like Ghost Adventures and they're like, entity in the basement, clearly evil, it scratched me, all that. So that for me is kind of a different category of paranormal activity and haunting, and I don't necessarily describe it as demonic. Now that I've done all my big research, angels and demons for me, they're kind of up here. Like, I don't think if let's just say demons actually exist. Let's say, the Lord of the Flies is running around out there somewhere. He's actually called the Lord of Shit, which I did not know. They didn't want to put that in the Bible. So Beelzebub, they were like, he's the Lord of the Flies. Well, where do you find flies? Like, it's like, yeah, I found all sorts of cool stuff. So by the way, everyone, this will be out on my Patreon. Patreon at thirdeye-champagne.com.
If you want to learn more about this subject, go to her Patreon, and I'm going to put that information underneath this video.
Thank you. Yeah, that'll be there, and that'll be at thirdeye-champagne.com too. But anyway, so everybody says, oh, I don't think this big guy, this Lord of Shit, I don't think he's coming down to be like, so I'm going to go into Tony's basement and I'm going to make some knocks on the wall. Like, I just don't see it. You know what I mean?
I'm going to flick the lights on and off.
Right. Like, I just doesn't seem like that would be this guy's master plan. Like, maybe like, I want to start like a huge war or something like that. They actually do have a demon of war. I can't remember his name, but so that kind of stuff I think is completely different. And I think you can deal with entities that are quote unquote angelic and quote unquote demonic, but that aren't actually angels and demons. Do you know what I mean? So they have somebody that wants to help you and they have really good vibes and it's a nice little energy, or you have this sort of trickster energy that's like, let me make some trouble. So I think we're actually dealing with kind of 4 separate things rather than one.
Do you think that there's a hierarchy? I mean, like there's some people say archangels and then the angels underneath.
Right.
So do you think that there is a sort of I kind of resonate with the whole, energetic, how it's more energetic. I kind of resonate with that, but I also know that people say that there is a hierarchy, the archangels.
Right. There's 9 choirs of angels. There's 10 in the Hebrew tradition. And the ordering of the angels actually came out in way later centuries. They were like, let's make an order. Prior to that, there really wasn't one. They were all mentioned, but they weren't ordered. So they're not actually ordered in the Bible. They're mentioned. in the Bible, and everybody kind of took them all and went, okay, let's do this. You're going to be on top, and you're going to be here, and you're going to be here. And of course, the archangels are the tippity top, and then you have seraphim, cherubim, and then you have weird stuff. And, you know, like the rest of them are kind of strange, strange names. Like, it's not like those pretty names, seraphim, cherubim. It's like, and then you have the doers and the beers. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, it's just, it's very, so I don't think there's a hierarchy. I don't. IRL, I don't think there's a hierarchy. I think Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, it's all part of the stew. You know what I mean? Like, Michael might be the meat and Gabriel might be the carrots. They're all in the pot.
I love that. I love that analogy, because that's where we are, right? Because we're all in the pot.
Yeah.
They may as well be in the pot.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, that's the sense that I get, especially, you know, tuning into those energies. It's like, you know, everybody's, it's like when you play a piano, it's like, you know, Angel is, you know, Angel Michael is C, and then, you know, your next octave down would be Gabriel, and the next octave down would be Uriel, and so on and so forth. But they're all on the fucking piano.
When you come back fully to the work, this is one of the projects that you're going to be doing, or that you're already working on. Are you going to go back into readings, or is there anything that you used to do that you're going to let fall away? Because
no, I think if anything, I'm more committed. Here's the deal. I know in my heart of hearts that I have to start doing some private readings, because we're shifting energies big time, right? We're going with Pluto into Aquarius, Saturn into Pisces, and we're shifting the nodes. So we're going to be going into new eclipses with Aries and Libra. We've got all this big new energy coming in. And then I've been sensing it that we're going to, I'm sure you have too, that we're just, astrology aside, it's like we're shifting. Like, you can feel this big energetic shift. You can feel it coming. My brother actually called me. He's really psychic. He doesn't work as a psychic, but he's really psychic. He called me, and he hangs out with a lot of the Karuk Indians up in Humboldt. And he said, I got to tell you something. I need it on the record. Okay, what do you need? He says, something's coming.
That's what I just told someone yesterday. Something's coming, something big.
Yep. He said that, and he said that he has mentioned it to a couple of members of the tribe, and they were like, "Oh yeah, change is coming." You know, so he's like, and they're, you know, he spends a lot of time with the tribe, and he's like, you know, they're so much more in touch with just everything. You know, everything. He's just like, can I just tell you, like, as white people, we're just totally doomed. Like, he's just like. He's like, I don't know, it's not in the DNA. Like, it's hard for us to, like, find things or whatever, get into touch with things. You know, but he says, like, they really just know what they're doing. Like energetically, they just sense things so much more. He has such an appreciation for it. You know, and he's just like, you know, I didn't grow up this way. He's telling me this, you know, I didn't grow up this way. So to watch people do this, and he says, you know, they get nature so much better than he does. Yeah. So the fact that he said, yeah, something's coming, and they were like, oh yeah, it is. You know, I'm just going, yeah, I could feel it. So I know something's coming. I know we have a big shift coming. I know I'm going to have to do private readings for people, because they're going to need it. Yeah. But I don't know when I'm going to be able to do it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Strength wise, it's like, I've tried a couple here and there, and one day I'll do it and be fine the rest of the day, and another day I'll do it and it will wipe me out so hard. I'm down for 2 days. Right. So I am going to start doing private readings. I don't know when, but I know that people need support for the shift that's coming in. And then I'm actually going to start short little live streams. Because
you used to stay on live streams for hours.
lot of times, the longer I would go, the more I would be able to like give information. You know what I mean? Get into my groove. So I'm going to be starting short live streams, and yeah, I mean the politics stuff. Like I'll read on it. For me, when the threat of Trump was gone, it was kind of like, okay, I don't need to read on this stuff anymore. At this point, it really is for entertainment. I think in America anyway, I'm not sensing dire straits.
Right.
I'm not really sensing dire straits anywhere with the exception of Russia and China. And I think that's going to be kind of the thing that we have to watch just in general. I feel like there's some weird energy, especially in China. I don't know, weird energy. I don't know what's going on with their government, but I feel like there's weird energy. And it's not just the balloons and they're shooting down the thing and Biden's getting pissed. It's not just that. There's weird energy coming out of there, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, once the threat of Trump was gone, it was kind of like, do I feel like this is a necessity? Because when I started reading on the guy, it was like, do you people have any idea how much trouble we're in? You know what I mean? And people needed help, they needed guidance, they needed comfort, they needed all of that. I'm not saying they don't need it now, but for me, looking back, it was like that was kind of a mission. Like that was something that I had to do.
Yeah, and you brought it in a way that was so, like not like hair on fire. Oh my God. You brought it in a way that was like, look, this is what's going down. And you brought humor into it, and, people felt comfortable getting the information because you weren't scaring us, it was like, it's going to be okay.
Well, and I will say with this, after this whole experience, I don't know what it is, but I don't know how I want to say this, but it's like, I don't want to say life isn't real, but kind of like life isn't real. The politics, none of it. I mean, if Trump were to get back into office today, knock wood that he doesn't. Oh, sorry, that was me. Dog is like, who's here? That was me, buddy. But if he were, I don't even think that I would feel called to read on him as much as I did in the past. There's just something now where I don't know, I can see things differently. It's like the Matrix. I literally, like, I'm seeing the numbers. You know what I mean? Like, I can see the Matrix. I don't know what happened, but there was a shift that took place. And I can see things for the theater that they are.
Yeah.
And
I've been waking up and seeing a grid. When I open my eyes, I see a grid.
Yep.
And it just feels like that has something to do with the grid, what do you call the grid that's over us?
Yeah.
Not the grid under us, but the one that's over us.
Yeah, it's so yeah, I mean, I will read on whatever people want me to read on. What I'm excited about, honestly, I'm really excited about my cult stuff. Can't wait to dive into the cult stuff. I'm really into, doppelgangers is my new thing. So right, like the idea of doppelgangers, and people, I've been finding these crazy paranormal stories about people seeing themselves, or
is that a time shift thing?
I don't know what it is, so I can't wait to dive into it.
Wow.
But there was one I just the other day, this woman story. She was on the beach and there was a storm coming in, and she knew her daughter was back in her cabin. The daughter was fine. And yet she looks out on the ocean and she sees her 4-year-old daughter drowning. And I mean, clear as a bell, sees this kid drowning, and she's feeling very drawn towards going to rescue this kid. And she felt like something was, she eventually, she knew where the kid was. She knew there was no possible way her child was out there. But she felt drawn to go rescue this, whatever it was. And she felt like it was trying to kill her. In hindsight,
is this like a trickster spirit or something?
Right. Really interesting. So I'm very into doppelgangers, and I'm super into fairies.
I love fairies. Yay.
The lore behind fairies is fascinating. It's really fascinating. People, even nowadays, people, particularly in, Ireland and Scotland, particularly, like it's really heavy over there, but they'll hear music.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll follow it.
and they'll follow it. They can't not follow it. They have to follow this music. I mean, so yeah, I'm really into that kind of stuff right now personally, which of course I'm going to bring to
Yeah.
the world.
There's this hiking place that I go to here, not that far from where I live now, but there, I swear it's a fairy place. It's where fairies reside. And I go there, and I feel them. I know they're watching.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing, this idea of being watched, like that's coming through with a lot of the fairy stuff that I'm doing. People are, I felt watched, I felt watched, I felt watched. They say there's like an eye wash, and it's probably drugs. It's probably belladonna or something horrible. But they say that there's an eye wash you can do so that will enable you to see the fairies. So this is the kind of stuff I'm digging up, which I'm really, I'm really into it. It's just really, and it's, for me, it's a little mixture of, history, mythic stuff, and then really bizarre stories. Especially the vampire stuff. These people, they're drinking the ashes of their loved ones. They're burning their bodies in the cemeteries, and they're thinking it's going to cure tuberculosis. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff to me. It's like this one guy, the vampire stalking me, this, that, and the other. And he dies. And the son is now sick. They all have TB. The whole family has TB, but they don't know. It's, it's olden times. So they don't know how they get it. So the son is sick. So the town decides we got to go dig up the father because he's the vampire, but he wasn't. So they put him back. And then they dig up the sister who's been dead like way too long. And they're like, oh, yeah, she's bones. Okay, she's not the vampire. Then they dig up the other sister. She looks great. So they're like, well, there's the vampire.
Well,
so
she was just buried yesterday.
Right. Yeah, they're like, man alive, she's looking too good. And she had changed positions in the coffin, which they were like, well, obviously, because she's getting up at night, and vampiring people. She had the rosy cheeks, the hair was too long, the nails had grown, and so they determined she was the vampire after they dug up like 3 other people. I mean, and that's the thing, you got to picture these people. They literally are going to the cemetery, with pitchforks and and shovels and digging people up. One of the situations, they had above ground crypts, and it was winter. So when she died, one of the girls died, they just put her in this crypt. And then lo and behold, there's a vampire in town. And so basically just when people were getting sick, that's how they thought they were being, they would have a bad dream about the person that had died, and they would be sick, and then other people would get sick and they would have a bad dream, and they would go, okay, that's the vampire. So they go to this poor woman's crypt in the middle of winter, right? The body is perfectly preserved because it's frozen. And they open the damn thing and they go, vampire. So they drag her out, they light her on fire. Oh, God. And then they take the cup of the ashes over to the sick guy, and they mix it with a little water, and they make him drink the ashes. And it should cure his sickness. Of course it doesn't. He dies from TB. But
so then they have to dig him up and set him on fire.
Well, and the thing is, they have been doing this, so they are still doing this in Romania, like to this day. They just very recently, in the last, 5 or 6 years, they felt there was a vampire, and so they dug this person up, and everybody got arrested because they exhumed and defiled a dead body.
No Netflix subscription.
Right?
They didn't have anything else to do.
They had nothing else to do. They were like, you know what, everybody? Got to go drive a stake through this person.
Because oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, and then I guess they were pretty outraged that they got arrested. They said, "Look, you guys, we're just trying to stop the vampire," and the police are going, "You just can't come in here and dig people up and light them on fire. Like this is not legal." Well, we get it. But listen, they were a vampire. Do you know what I mean? So
it's like trying to talk to a MAGA person, right?
It is. Yeah, exactly. They're like, nope, Donald Trump Jr. never touched that cocaine. Let me tell you, you're never going to convince me otherwise. Same deal. No, we had to light him on fire. He was a vampire. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm really into this. I find it a little bit more interesting than Donald Trump Jr. doing cocaine. I mean,
yeah. Well, we've all seen that. We've all seen.
It's getting a little old. I mean, this is like we get it, bro. Like we get it. The stuff he's been talking. Well, Joe Biden isn't sending money to Ohio and all this and that. That's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts because it's not even a correct argument.
Yeah.
Biden can't send the money. I forget why, but there's a reason. There's a reason why. That he has to go through Congress, and the governor didn't ask for any money, and Like there's a whole logical reason why Biden didn't send them any money, but Donald Trump Jr. is banking on people being stupid.
Yeah.
Do
you feel that? Because I feel like because we're shifting. Do you feel as if there are two different dimensions happening right now at the same time on this planet? So glad you asked me that question.
I am so glad you asked me that question. So Dolores Cannon, right? She had that whole two different realities, two totally different physical realities. That is actually in a lot of religious lore. That there will be two different realities. So it's not just woo, it's built into a lot of religions. Which I find really interesting because I think when you look at common threads, a lot of times there's a little, even if it's minuscule, there's a little grain of truth to it. And I think the way that I remember this going down is from the religious stuff. Again, it kind of is in the Bible, but kind of not. But basically, that there would be the good people and the bad people. And the bad people would not know that they had moved realities. They would have no clue that they basically were taken out of this reality and they were kind of put in a little separate bubble. And everybody would kind of resume life as usual. But that some people would have it better. And some people would keep spiraling down, 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 down. I think that's happening.
I do too.
I really, really, really think that's happening. I mean, that to me, because I've been, looking at the people around me, I just kind of see this. There's some people that are just kind of keep going over here, like deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And it's just like this ugly world. Why would you want to live there?
I'm so glad you said that because it's mystifying. It's mystifying.
Yeah, they're living in this world, especially with the MAGAs. It's like they're living, the right wingers. I think in any country, they're living in this world that's full of fear. That they ultimately, these people are going to end up being controlled by an entity larger than themselves. I mean, to a degree, we kind of all are. We're all kind of subject to our governments and our societal norms. But they want to do ugly, nasty, horrible things to people, like these Republicans blocking Biden, with the student loans. Off. It's not your money. It's not like they're saying, "Hey, Matt Gaetz, give me $7 trillion so I can forgive student loan debt." You know what I mean? It's not. Why do they care? They just want to hurt people. It's the same thing with the transgender stuff. Why do you give it if Joe Blow in Wisconsin wants to be Josephine Blow? Why?
Right. Why?
Why do you want to stop?
And then at the same time, you talk about rights. My individual rights, my freedoms, my this, my that, my this. But no, you can't have that. It's just like I said, just the two.
Yep.
The two.
I think it's becoming more and more delineated. And I think because it's always to a degree, I think it's always been like that you have, people that are like, live and let live, and I just want everybody to be happy and kind-hearted people. And then you have jerks. It's always been like that. But it seems to me, globally speaking, it's just so much more pronounced. I'm not super old. What am I, 44?
Oh, you're
I remember being a kid, and it wasn't like you would have this big, you know what I mean? These these stories where somebody is just like totally, totally awful and horrible. And like, you know, I'm going to go walk into a classroom and kill a bunch of 5-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have that.
And it's so cruel. It's like the cruelty is on, you know, to level 11. It turned it up to
selfish.
11. Yeah.
It's selfish. Anyone that takes another life is completely selfish. You know? And so I think we are absolutely going into this space where I think we're still going to be in the quote unquote same reality, but I'm not of it.
Right.
And whereas before, I mean, when Columbine happened, I remember just being like, I mean, that was the first big, you know, shooting, Sandy Hook also, but it's like, you know, you were in it. And it's not because I'm become numb to it. It's just, to me, it's kind of like, I don't want to be in that energy.
Right.
I just can't, I don't. And that's the same with the politics energy, you guys. And I don't know, Tony, if you feel like this, but reading on politics, I think it's an ugly energy and I find it exhausting.
That's why I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't do it. I mean, you know, every once in a while I used to try to, you know, do it with, you know, collaborate with people doing it. But I started to feel like I was part of the problem.
Yes.
You know,
I agree completely. I mean, like I said, I'll do politics as long as I can do it from an entertaining angle. You know, because I feel like if I can make you laugh at it, then it kind of lessens that energy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and also I think there are things people are worried about. That's the other thing. Since the hospital thing, I'm not worried. It doesn't exist for me anymore. I mean, it just doesn't. I mean, like the doctor the other day, we got to check you for tumors. I'm like, oh, the tumors again. Okay. You know, like I'm not, I could care less. Find tumors, don't find tumors. I'll drop dead tomorrow. I'll live to be 100. Tumors. Yeah, I don't care. But I know people get worried and they need anyone to tell them, no, this is not going to be a thing. And I know people get pissed off with me because, like with the abortion stuff, I said from 2017 on, I said, it's going. It's going. It's going. And people were not happy with me. I was right, but they didn't want to hear that. So I think, you know, on the one hand, people are looking for comfort. On the other hand, some people just want to be told what they want to hear, which is different than looking for comfort.
That is so true. That is so true. Oh my gosh, we've been talking for an hour.
just like, I'm having the best time with you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just like,
oh my gosh, I don't want to let you go, but I don't want you to, I need to let you go because I want you to feel better.
Yeah, I've already done 2 other things today. I gotta take it easy. This is so lame. I am such a lame-o right now.
No.
I talked to someone on the phone and now I'm talking to you and that's it. I get no more.
It's so much, I mean, it's such a great example of self-care, you know, when you've had enough, you know how far you can go. So then you say, that's enough. I can't do anymore. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Elvis has left the building.
Yeah, exactly it. I mean, that's exactly it. Like, that's
so
legit. And I have to, with always with me, the spirit is willing, and then, you know, sometimes the flesh will be weak, and it's just like, okay, bitch, sit down.
I just have one more question for you. You used to do these ghost things at your Armenian
Portuguese Hall. Yeah.
Portuguese Hall, yeah. So are you still doing things like that?
You know what? I want to get back into that. I have a little idea. I actually want to take my mom and my aunt, who've been on my show before, ghost hunting, because they're both just so crazy. I want to start getting into that. That's
a whole nother show.
It's a whole other show. And that's the thing. I really, like, if I did it, I would really want to get into some other places, maybe some official places. A lot of people, at least around here, they're kind of like, they don't really want me in their space.
Oh.
You know, because there's nothing in it for them, maybe, I don't know. But I've talked to a few people in the area, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not letting you ghost hunt. We're not letting you in here, you know. Maybe they don't want me coming in there and saying, oh yeah, this place is haunted, you know. But yeah, I really want to get back into it, especially with this poltergeist stuff going on with me right now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, so what would happen if I walked into a haunted place? You know what I mean? Like what would go down? So I really want to get back into that. That is going to take a little bit more time because that's something I can't just sit on a couch and do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
maybe you pierce the veil a little bit.
for whatever it was, God, angels, whatever, everybody's prayers, who knows? But I was so protected, it didn't bother me. I don't think I took anything out of the hospital, but I could feel stuff in there. And I just remember going like, this is not any place I want to start reading. You know what I mean? I don't want to open up any psychic abilities in here. I did one reading for myself. My mom brought me my tarot cards. They probably thought I was nuts in there. You know, they let me keep my chonies on, which is really nice because usually, you know, they give you the hospital panties. This is like, and I was like, I'm not wearing those. So like, I got
your panties in the hospital.
They give you panties.
I've never had that.
They have hospital panties, yeah. So, but they were like, no. So you just picture me, right? 45 minutes a day, I'm walking in this hospital. They thought I was crazy. And I've got the black lace undies on, walking through the hospital with my IV, and I'm kind of muttering to myself, going, "Oh, there's some bad energy in here." I mean, they probably were like, "We gotta get her the fuck out of here! Like, either kill her or get her better." Because that is the picture. That is the picture. It's me with the chonies hanging out with the black lace panties and the IV muttering about like the funky energy in here. Yeah,
that's so funny.
Yeah, it was a strange. But you know what? Actually, I would love to ghost hunt a hospital. I would actually, because I bet there's just so much weird shit in there. I'm like salivating at the thought of it.
That's what scares me a lot too about hospitals is that there are so many energies there. Yeah. You know, it's just like, and you're so much, you know, you have so much more experience with this kind of thing, and I'm sure that you would be fine, but I would be in a corner just, you know, sucking my thumb.
Well, you gotta think about it. People are dying in there on the daily. People are being born in there on the daily. So that's all this kind of energy. I mean, that is so much energy, death and life in the same building at the same time. Like, that's a lot of energy. And then you pile on all the people, and then you pile on all the people that work there, and then you pile on people battling for their lives. Then you pile on these doctors that have their own agendas. Sometimes it's to save people, sometimes it's their own egos, you know. So it's just a lot. There's a lot going on in there, you know.
And I'm an empath, so I feel like it can feel like needles, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's like, God, get out of here.
It's so much. It's so much. Every time a baby was born in the hospital, they would play a little music box over the loudspeaker, lullaby and goodnight. That was my favorite. Honestly, like, I would hear it, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. And after we had an earthquake while I was in the hospital, and immediately afterwards, 2 babies were born. Bam! Like that earthquake shook out them babies. Like, it was like, bam. But yeah, hospitals. It's. I wonder if I could do a remote. Now I'm like, maybe I should do a remote reading on a hospital, because that's a lot of energy.
So you find one that's like really old. Find one that's really old.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot. So with your empath stuff, do you feel like you can feel other people's stuff physically?
Oh yes.
Isn't that the worst?
It's like. And you walk into a room and you can immediately feel like, you know, okay, that person's got a problem. That person.
You know, so when you have a physical feeling, like, let's say all of a sudden you're like, oh, my knee hurts. Do you know immediately it's not yours, or does it take some time for you to figure it out?
Because I'm 62 now.
62? Oh my God. Whoa. I had no idea. Wow. I thought you were like a little bit older than me, like 46, 47.
No.
Good on you.
So, I mean, to answer your question, I used to feel like, oh, this is not for me. This is not mine. But now I don't know. It's like, it could be me.
Interesting. Sometimes I would go days without knowing it wasn't mine. And then I would come across somebody and they would either be depressed or they would be limping, and I go, oh my God, it's not my knee, it's your knee. It can be a lot. The empath thing can be a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm tired. Just hit me. Wow.
Okay.
All right, we have to go.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We're going to let Kirsten go to bed and rest. So thank you, Kirsten, so much. I'm just like, I'm over the moon that you said yes. And you're like one of my, on my list of people to meet in my life.
Oh.
And so I'm very, very grateful.
Oh my God, Tony, thank you so much. You're gonna have to come on my show when I'm up and running.
Okay, I would love that.
We'll have a chat.
Thank you so much, and thank you guys. And I'll put all of Kirsten's information underneath this video, and give us a thumbs up and hit that bell to be reminded when I do another video. So take care. Walk in beauty, walk in peace, and walk in love. Bye, guys. Okay, stop the recording.